Hello and welcome in to Chatterbox Reacts, where today we're going to talk about the prince that was promised. Joe Burrow went on a rare. It's very rare when he goes on a podcast. I think he does it like once every 2 years, and he went on Pardon My Take just this week. So we're going to react to some of the most viral clips from that because we love Joe Burrow here in Cincinnati, and he's going to win us the Super Bowl someday. So might as well eat up as much Joe Burrow as we can. So there's 3 clips that we're going to talk about, and let's go ahead and run the first clip.
All right, Joe, when you play the Steelers, can you feel T.J. Watt's presence on the outside? And if so, what does it feel like?
Yeah, I can definitely feel T.J. is a unique player in this league. There's no other defensive lineman that I have to treat like
this is Jersey
a DB. Like I have to be conscious about
the Steelers
where he's at because he's just going to jump up and catch it.
Yeah.
And there's nobody else that can do that.
So would you say he's like...
Does Watt do that a lot?
Is he more of a threat than Myles Garrett, you would say?
I mean, I'm not going to...
Fair.
He just goes around. Myles Garrett lives in
it's just a different...
Fair.
You have to be alert for him in the pass game, which is very unique.
I
would say.
take the compliment.
I love that Jerry's question was literally,
we're good on this clip.
what's it like feeling T.J. Watt behind you?
Yeah. What he said was that he wasn't scared of ends at all. Because that's the big thing. Is he's been sacked 80 times in his career, whatever it's been. He has led the league twice in getting sacked. He gets sacked 9 times per game that one playoff run when they went to the Super Bowl, to where and I believe him that it's not in his head. He's got to, like, because that's what you worry about when you're getting sacked. He's like, oh, man, I got to figure out where Myles Garrett is. I got to figure out where so-and-so is. He's not worried about that. He's just worried about T.J. Watt picking him off at this point. He's not worried about getting hit.
I like that he wouldn't take a side between Myles Garrett and T.J. Watt, though. You can't give any bulletin board material to those guys. That's important.
Right.
Yeah, I think he was, listen, he's trying to tread the water of being respectful towards his competition while not veering credit to the NFC North, AFC North, excuse me, which is the best division in football. Yeah,
like I said, it's good to know that he's not mentally scared of other ends, because the best pass rushing in the league is in the AFC North from top to bottom.
For sure.
From top to bottom, including what the Bengals have with Trey Hendrickson. So it's good to know that he's not worried about getting hit. He's not worried about getting sacked. He is worried about T.J. Watt being an athlete and picking him off, as he's done 2 times.
And T.J. Watt's pretty good, so it's a fair word.
T.J. Watt's very good.
What would you say to Ohio State fans that try to claim you?
I didn't play football there. I mean, I practiced football there. But
did a lot of practicing.
I did a lot of practicing and lifting.
You graduated?
I graduated. I usually tell people that I went to school at Ohio State and I played football at LSU.
That's good. Yeah, I like that.
I got a lot better from practicing at Ohio State, but I didn't get to play, so I don't really say that I played there.
I think that's a fair answer.
I got to live the backup quarterback lifestyle back then, and that was fun. Got that out of my system, and then I was able to lock in.
Yeah. Starting's a lot more fun.
A lot more fun.
I would love to be backup, though.
I would love
it
to
seems
be
like
I mean, it was pretty fun for a couple years.
I'd like to be a third string.
I wasn't exactly.
You
don't have to be that prepared.
Yeah, right. Because you're really, like, if you get to the third string, everyone's like, well, we're going to suck anyway.
Yeah. I wouldn't say I was super happy.
Yeah.
But I did have fun.
Yeah.
I would say.
Joe Burrow, big partier?
My main takeaway from that is that they don't go to school at LSU. I went to school at Ohio State. I played football at LSU. Joe, I think student athlete, you're supposed to do both.
Right. Yeah. But this is something that's always bugged me, is that Ohio State, and you were one of them, Jacob.
I have a Joe Burrow Ohio State jersey. It's a great purchase.
is Ohio State fans have claimed Joe Burrow, and he's played, what, 9 snaps or something? Yeah, like 9 snaps for Ohio State in his 4 years there, to where, like, how could you claim him at that point? I did not think Joe Burrow was much of a partier till I watched that clip.
No, it seems like he was back in his younger days.
Whenever you hear the phrase, got it out of my system, that means he was putting a lot of things in his system.
That's right.
And now he's not anymore. That's good. Yeah. That's good that he got out of there. But as an Ohio State fan, do you claim him? And are you going to continue to claim him after what you just heard?
I claim him in the sense of I point to the quarterback room in 2014, and like that quarterback room is one of the best ever because he was in that quarterback room. I don't say he's an Ohio State quarterback. He's an LSU quarterback in a very similar way. I think Jalen Hurts is an Oklahoma quarterback.
He gave a very political answer. He wasn't trying to offend anybody. But at the end of the day, it's nonsensical to think that Ohio State can claim this guy. He didn't play for your school. So
I don't think he was very political about it. I think he almost pretty much said I'm not Ohio State. Like I did not play football there. Spent a lot of time there, enjoyed my years there, got better at football there, but to claim me as an Ohio State guy seems that's what he was steering away from. He's like, I played football at LSU. And do you think that out of all of his journeys, Ohio State's got to be the bottom of the totem pole, right? Like, he's beloved at LSU. He is beloved here in Cincinnati. Yeah. Like, Ohio State's just whatever.
His high school named the field after him.
Right. Athens Plains. Yeah. So it's Joe Burrow doesn't want to be considered Ohio State.
It is crazy in hindsight that Ohio State probably didn't get it wrong either, which is crazy.
No.
Joe Burrow's first year at LSU was Dwayne Haskins' year at Ohio State, where Haskins broke all the single-season records. So not many schools in the country you could let Joe Burrow transfer and not get it wrong.
And Joe was okay.
Right.
Joe was okay. Now let's watch this third clip, which I think Joe has created the perfect scenario for the NFL schedule.
What do you think the perfect football schedule is in terms of weeks and bye weeks?
How many games are we playing?
You tell me.
18.
18. Got to have 2 bye weeks.
I like
And I
that.
think it'd be cool to do a normal bye week schedule that it is now. Like, have it spread out. But then, week 13, do, the Pro Bowl break, where you're doing, the 7-on-7 and all the skills challenges like the NBA does, because I think that would get more ratings for the Pro Bowl.
Yes.
And then it would also give everybody that bye week going into, the last 6 games of the year.
My big idea is, especially now with the expanded college football playoff, you do the week before Christmas, no NFL, college football playoffs, give everyone a break to go do their shopping.
Yeah, I'm with that.
Yeah, and then you get everyone reset. The whole league is on a level playing field for the
and then you have
stretch.
guys that are injured that would be able to potentially come back, and you want your best players out there as a league. You want them in the last 6 weeks of the season. You want your best players on the field. So I think that would be a smart idea.
I think we fixed football, and then you get the President's Day Monday after the Super Bowl off.
That would be
that's
what I was going to ask.
Yeah,
when would that Super Bowl then fall? Because that would be a challenge, but that would be perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah, I don't think I think you should get Monday off, absolutely. But I think that the 18-game schedule is inevitable.
I think the only reason we're playing 17 is because PA wouldn't sign for 18.
Right, yeah. They always wanted 18, and they're like, we'll concede to 17.
I do think 18 is the end, though. I don't think this is a normal snowball conversation that some people
where does it stop?
We're not playing 25 games.
No. 162.
Right, yeah.
162
now,
in the NFL every
sign
day.
me up for 162 of football. I mean, what quarterback are we on at that point?
I think Joe Burrow knows that, and I think most of the players in the league know where it's going. I think there have been a lot of conversations behind closed doors to what the solution would be to 18 games. And obviously the players want multiple weeks off if you're going to do that, because you need that. When it's the most physical sport in the world, you're going to need multiple days off. And I think that was probably what he was just petitioning there. I'm surprised that nobody at least not that I've heard of, has given this idea before. I don't remember somebody coming out and saying, let's do the Pro Bowl during the middle of the season. Let's have the Pro Bowl festivities, and we'll get all the fun. And they're not playing football anymore. The Pro Bowl is, respectfully, a joke. They can go play flag football and go throw who can throw the football the farthest during this weekend. Have it off. Just relax. And then you go back out to playing football the next week, just how every other sport does it, essentially.
So he insinuated week 13. So it'd be a 20-week schedule. Week 13... Does that seem right? I think that's too early. I think I'd want it pretty late. Spread out everyone's first bye earlier in the year, and then the second bye is week 17.
Oh, I think that's too late.
I think it's too late.
I think
because we're going to do 13, 14, 15. One of those, 3 weeks. Because otherwise, that second bye is not doing anything for non-playoff teams.
Correct.
Okay.
If the bye week is in week 17 or 18, non-playoff teams don't get any benefits from that.
I think the answer probably would be week 7 bye, week 14 bye, somewhere around there.
You would have to shuffle the first bye. You wouldn't have 2 off weeks for the NFL.
Right.
Correct.
But yeah, I think the Pro Bowl in the middle of the season would be great. It would do away with everyone opting out if you're in the Super Bowl. the best players in the league, obviously you expect them to be playing in the Super Bowl. They're never in the Pro Bowl because it's the week before and they're practicing and getting ready. So getting those big names back out there now that we aren't playing football, there's no incentive for these guys to sit out.
From a marketing standpoint too, more people I do think would watch it if it were into the regular season.
Yeah, 100%. No, absolutely. It would, and especially if you put it in. I wouldn't call it a dead period right there at Christmas because there would be the college football playoff, but like it is kind of a lull period in terms of sports because college basketball hasn't really ramped up yet. You can really go after that. I think that you could make the first bye week a little more uniform into like the entire NFC gets off week 7, the entire AFC gets off week 8, and when they're playing each other, every game's prime time. So you do like if there's only 8 games because there's 16 teams in each conference, you need to go like one Thursday game, and then like two 1P games, 2 4P games, and then just strengthen it out to where every team kind of gets a primetime game or at least a lone slot game. And that way it's a little more uniform in the bye weeks because it is a little confusing, like, oh, who's on a bye this week? Right. It'd be nice to have some structure, be like, hey, you got to get to week 7 because that's our bye week, and then week 14 is the second bye.
And it would be brutal if you're a team that somehow gets a shake with a week 11 or 12 bye week when that universal bye is 13 or 14.
Yeah,
right.
You're just having 2 weeks off in a month there in the home stretch of the season. That's not feasible. So you probably have to have maybe a window and then the preseason, like everyone, a quarter of the teams in 7, a quarter of the teams in 8, a quarter of the teams in 9, 10, something like that maybe. I don't know, but the conference idea is pretty interesting.
I think, well, shout out to Joe Burrow. Not only did he fix football here in Cincinnati.
He's the commissioner of football.
He
Future
fixed football.
PA president?
Yes.
That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing. Doesn't seem like a jump at all. All right, we got one more video for you.
Do you think people have forgotten about Joe Burrow?
I believe that.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you get hurt, though. You don't play football, people forget about you.
Yeah, which I like the spot you're in right now because I feel like
I love the spot I'm in.
Yeah, like AFC, everyone's like, oh well, you know, Josh, Lamar, and Patrick, CJ Stroud. It's like you're forgetting one guy.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
but again, that's part of the game. If you're not out there and people aren't watching you, then there's nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give people to talk about something to talk about this year. I'm excited about it.
I feel like the spot that you were in last year must have been tough for you because I don't know how involved you were with the team as you're on the sidelines, but being in that situation where your team's playing meaningful games and you just want to be out there and you're just like chomping at the bit, unable to be there, I feel like that has to take a small toll mentally at least, right?
Yeah, very difficult, but I would say, this injury was different than my previous ones because, it was my wrist. So I was like, I couldn't throw and I couldn't do my job, but I could still grind in the weight room and get all my workouts in. And so my off season started, 10 to 12 weeks earlier than everybody else's. And so I think that gives me kind of a leg up on the year, but definitely watching your guys go out there and play meaningful football is tough.
There's 2 things that I liked about that. One, I 100% agree that people aren't talking about Joe Burrow as much as they were. Yep. And I think that's a good thing here in Cincinnati. I don't like when expectations are through the roof. I like having realistic, understandable expectations. And that's with me saying earlier that I think Joe Burrow will win a Super Bowl. So I know how high the expectations are. But it seemed like everyone knew that he was a top 3 quarterback in the league, a top 2 quarterback in the league going into last year. This year, if it's brought up, it's kind of just thrown out, right? It's just he's a top guy. But people have certainly forgot that. The second thing that I really like that he brings light to is that not all injuries are created equal, even the ones that end the season and you can't come back. And that is because Joe could do almost everything that you can do to prepare for it. He just couldn't do his singular job, which was throw the ball. He could still weight train, he could still run, he could still do all these things, and that's huge as opposed to the last injury where he was quite literally in a chair for the entire recovery period.
Yeah, for me, it's been one of those ongoing issues, seemingly, and when I say ongoing, a couple of times now, where Joe Burrow's been not healthy, not ready to start each season. he's been now ready to start this upcoming season for quite some time because of this injury. He's able to do the workouts. He's able to stay fit, get in shape, get ready for this NFL season, and that's good to see. I think Joe Burrow is ready to go. I do like the swagger. I do like the confidence. I do think Joe Burrow is still that guy who wears the outrageous coats to the press conferences. He's still the guy that Cincinnati fans absolutely love. Some Cincinnati fans don't like him because they think he's too confident. He has too much swag. That's not me. I like to see my quarterback talking like this. He wants to make people talk about him. He doesn't want to sit in the sidelines and be hurt. Nobody does. No professional athlete does. And to see Joe Burrow ready to go for this season gets me pumped up.
My favorite thing about every time he talks about this injury is it's exactly different from last year. Last year it was always, I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be good to go. I'm going to play at a high level. Now every time he's talking about this injury is, I rehabbed correctly. I got the surgery. I've been getting better. It's all hindsight, which means that I think he's much more comfortable with where he's at now than where he's been with any of his other injuries going into the season following them. Even last year with the calf strain going into week 1, that was in his head more than anything almost maybe has ever been. And we saw that evident with how he was unable to scramble against the Ravens and the Browns, and it really hurt his downfield passing. And this year, it really feels like he's comfortable where he's at, which is the biggest thing for me. Yeah,
it's and the big thing is just that confidence that he is known for, that confidence that rubs a lot of people the wrong way. That is when he's at his best.
For sure.
That is part of the game. So you want that there. You need that there. And just the fact that everyone has forgotten who Joe is, and I think he said it best when he's like, "Oh, you're going to remember. You're going to remember very, very quickly," and I truly believe that. But let us know what you thought of this interview. So give us a subscribe, give us a like, comment down what you thought. Thank you for watching. This has been Chatterbox Reacts.
Whoop.